I'm Paul, and I'm the owner of Chase Stop Shop, and I want to help you all out. Stop being a gooner and quit fapping for good. So let's figure out how we could modulate that libido of yours. If you've ever told yourself that this is the last time and still found yourself right back where you were the day before, this video is for you. I'm going to go over why we keep doing this to ourselves. What's the problem with being a gooner, and give you some tools to help fix this problem of yours. Okay, let's be real. The act of masturbating, that's not really the problem. I'm pretty sure humans have been doing it forever. It just is a pretty natural thing. So, what is the problem? The problem is the cycle that we find ourselves in, day out, constantly stuck in this loop. And so, in order for us to break it, we have to understand what the cycle is. So, the cycle is always going to first begin with the trigger. And the trigger could be anything from something, an ad on your phone, to a person in your classroom, or literally anything that's deep within our psyche that causes us to get the next thing, which is the urge. The urge is going to be the deep feeling within our gut. I usually feel it as this kind of nodding feeling that I can't undo. After we get the urge, we act upon it. And when we act upon it, that's going to be something that's, I think we know what we do when we act upon our urges to fat. Um, and then once we start doing that, we then usually feel guilty about it. Now, the guilt could come through various different things. But at the end of the day, we have a feeling after we act, and it just makes us feel kind of spent or gross or ultimately kind of sad. And if you're no stranger to what's going on here, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And then after we feel the guilty, we feel numb about it. In order for us to cope with this psyche, we just have to like what would we say, compartmentalize what we just did in order to get by the next day. So we just end up feeling numb. And once we feel numb, we're able to kind of move on again. Um, but what always ends up happening again is you hit the trigger, and then the cycle completely starts over again, and you're stuck in this never-ending loop of ultimately wasting your libido and your energy. And what we're trying to do here is break this loop and get your energy back so you could be just, I think, a better person. Okay, so most people think that they're addicted to pleasure. It's so easy to get caught up in this idea that because something feels good, you want to do it. That's like kind of like Maslow's law. That's just such a mundane and I would say reductionist way of approaching this problem because really it's kind of going to, in my opinion, really just two things. There's the surface thing. Yeah, you are horny and you really want to get off. But like really I think to get to that level, I think there needs to be some sort of like foreplay or some sort of real life thing or another person or something that really is getting you to that point. But I think really there's kind of a deeper reason, which is you're avoiding something. Now, you could be avoiding so many different things. You could be avoiding responsibility. You don't want to do your homework. You don't want to clean your house. So you just do that because kind of, you just want to get away from whatever your responsibility is. Another one is a big one is you have a fear of intimacy, um, which is another topic for another day. But we might all just be afraid that we don't want to get close to anybody, maybe because of how we were raised. So it keeps us in this shame loop, and that gets back to the cycle. It's usually from all our earlier experiences. And so, really, the deeper why of why we're doing this is it does feel good on the surface level. But when we always get into that feeling of guilt that we have in that cycle, we have to ask ourselves, why are we guilty? If I'm doing this for pleasure, I shouldn't feel guilty. I'm usually feeling guilty because I'm avoiding something in my life. I'm trying to get away from being intimate with my partner. We've dated for so many years. Now I'm kind of interested in doing something else. So there's this deeper level that I think that when you're trying to figure out why you're doing this, you got to get away from the surface level and just start drilling in deeper and deeper to why you're doing what you're doing to yourself. Okay, so let's talk about what you're really losing here. Don't frame this as something that's immoral. I'm not a moralizer. I think people have their agency to do what they want because they're free beings. And so you'll do something that you want to do. Let's frame this rather as your libido, your internal energy, the thing that wills you to become a better you. So, what you're really losing when you do this is you're losing your focus. You cannot go about your days constantly being triggered by things and going back into this cycle. If you do that, you're not going to stay focused on that hand. You're going to go into a situation where something's going to trigger you and you're going to lose complete control of yourself, your energy. When you are expelling your life force, because that's what we're talking about here, it's the thing that literally creates life. Um, that's an energy. It takes energy that you put into yourself to literally physically do the act. You have to put energy to get the energy out. And then once you get that energy out, you will always feel tired afterwards. That's the classic thing with men, especially, is we expel our life force. And then what do we always end up doing at the end of the activity? We end up wanting to fall asleep. And that's why we kind of get in this situation is because our cycle is kind of putting us in this way where it's in order to fall asleep or in order to relax, you need to do this. So what we want to do is contain that energy and transmute it into something more positive. Confidence. When you're feeling that guilt and that shame after you do this, you're gonna just feel less of a person because you may have gone into areas of the internet that are kind of suspect and like we probably shouldn't be seeing the things we're seeing sometimes. And so you'll eventually feel that you've lost your confidence to just talk to people and be a normal person because of what you're relating to uh, the human experience through the various forms of media. And lastly, I think it gets into what I was just saying is your relationships with people. When you're viewing this act as this uh, uh, shameful and guilty way, like you're gonna not be able to probably talk to people very well. Or at least you're gonna start talking to someone, be triggered, then you're gonna start having thoughts that's gonna distract you from really the ultimate goal is just a human relation. And so, really, if we break that cycle, we're going to stop losing these things and we're going to start gaining them back. When you gain these things back, you could transmute yourself into a better person, your libido will rise. You'll become a stronger, I think, individual, and you'll ultimately just have a better time with your experiences through the day to day. Okay, so this isn't about willpower. I'm not trying to say that you're weak or you need to be strong. That's not at all what we're doing here. What we're trying to do is replace the pattern. We're trying to break this cycle and replace whatever triggered us to start this pattern. That's what we're talking about here. So there's so many different ways, but the very, very first thing that you need to do is mentally visualize what's going on. And once you have that mental image, you could then start to redirect and channel things, your libido, in ways that matter. And so, if we first think about the first thing is an awareness, it's the biggest thing, it's the first step. Once you're aware of the problem, then we could start working on it. Um, once we get aware of our thing that we're having problem with, we then could delay whatever's going on. And I offer with Chase Shop, I offer something called Fat Trap. It's a gum, it's extremely bitter that you chew, it crunches, and it triggers your mind to delay whatever response you're trying to do. There's other things you could delay yourself. You could journal, cold shower, uh, throw your phone across the room. But I find that you need something immediately to get through the problem. And so again, that's what I'm trying to give you is just a piece of gum, chew it, good to go. I don't think sugar gums will really work because it's going to raise your blood pressure and then it's just going to cause things to get harder for you. You need to decrease your blood pressure. So that's what I'm trying to give you with that trap. Um, Once you delay it, you could redirect it. Redirecting is, once you're able to kind of like calm down, you could then do the thing you need to do. You could talk to the person you need to talk to. You could just go to sleep. You could do so many different things with yourself that you is preventing you from being probably the better person you can be. And then once you're redirecting it, you're rewiring your brain. Every single time this happens, and you could successfully break the cycle, you're going to start building different pathways in your brain. If you think about uh, the dog, and every time you give the dog a treat, it starts to salivate. And then one day you stop giving the dog the treat, then it's salivating. You rewired the dog's brain. So if you could take something like an extremely bitter gum, you will start to rewire your pathways. You will start to associate that activity with something bitter and something that you don't want to really kind of engage in. And so, what we're trying to do here is give you a real strategy to get through this problem. So, be aware, chew that gum, redirect your energy, and then you're going to rewire your brain and you're going to be a better person. Okay. So, what if your clarity, your confidence and energy are on the other side of this discipline? What are you eventually going to get with this? I like to think of it again as this visual graph of a spiral. You're starting down here where everything's chaotic and spread out, and you're kind of going nowhere maybe with things that are happening in your life. So, what you're going to then end up doing as you get better and better and rewired and wired, your mental clarity is going to get more focused and you're going to become a potent human being. You're going to have a mental sharpness. You're going to have a magnetism to draw people to you because they're going to see it on you. You're going to have personal growth. You're going to have an emotional stability. You're going to be a person who is sharp. You're going to not worry about these things anymore. The cycle has been broken. There's no more guilt. There's no more shame. You're a better you. And then you're going to start moving towards things in your life that just makes you a better person. So, discipline is freedom. You're not broken. You've just been misled about your internal power. And now you can take that back. Once we take this back, we could become such great people. We could go about our days just with a mental clarity, not thinking that you have a problem, not thinking that you're feeling shamed for what you did, not feeling guilty about anything. You are going to be able to go about every moment of your life with a new sense of confidence. You're going to be a person who could actually create something, to change energy from within and put it to the outside world. I think it's one of the greatest things is when we can take control of our libido and make ourselves and the world around us a better place. So, thanks for watching this. I hope it wasn't too long. Subscribe, check out my website, chase.shop, Google Fat Trap. Um, it's a gum, you chew it, pretty simple, not that much money, and I think it's gonna be a tool for you. Yeah, so anyways, I don't know, comment below, what's your reason to stop? And I will be here next time for you. Have a good day.